Hey, thanks for coming, even though it's 35 degrees. I understand it's pretty hot outside. But this is actually the first venture we've actually had together with Weserhalle. So big thanks to Weserhalle for letting us use the space. And also Alexandra Muller's work is on the wall here. So feel free to have a look at his information. It's really cool. It's really nice. It's cool, okay, cool, isn't it?
Cool, okay, cool.
Brilliant. There you go. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is the first important artist conversation, and the reason why it's called important artist conversation is because essentially every artist is local and is important, but also what is an institution? So this is some of the questions I'm raising in this platform called nstlerin, which is going to be a business empire maybe in 20 years, we'll see what happens. And so we're really lucky to have two illustrators today, two actually who I've known their work for such a long time. Very excited. So Lois Dolores De Silva, just discovered a middle name. And Stephan Dybus, or Stephan Dybus, which I it's an artist talk, and everything's going to be open. So Stephan will present his work first, and then Lois will present her work, and then what we'll do is all come together and just talk about whatever themes are going on. So it's very different to, let's say, you have a professor here who'll be like, "Oh, Tolstoy once told me." It's not. It's just whatever you want to talk about things. And also, we're going to be recording. Is this okay for everybody? Okay, cool. Alright, but your heads won't be in it, don't worry. it's all about this. Okay, cool. Oh, I guess if there's nothing more I need to say, I'm used to doing jokes and it's just freaking me out. So, alright, cool. So, okay, so we're going to present Stephan now, and Stephan can do his thing and have a look at what it's all here. Swipe. And I swipe like, yeah, so you just swipe like Tinder or something. So like you would swipe. I think left and then, oh, so you would swipe like, this is a teaser. This is a classic swipe. You swipe this way. Yeah, you swipe this way, yeah. Okay, that way. Oh shit, so you're rejecting everybody.
Yeah, I have to speak in English, so I have a text that is really as every word is written down, so I won't mess up anything. Just 1 second. Do you speak German anyway? Like everyone? No. Great.
Try first.
So yeah, I'm Stephan Dybus, and I'm an illustrator and graphic artist from Magdeburg. That's where I grew up. And as you can see, there's a lot of nice concrete. And these nice, they were pretty familiar to me as a child, but these sculptures are pretty amazing. I have to revisit them, I guess. Yes, I focus mainly on pictures. I'm not like a comic guy, or unlike Dolores or Louis. Animations, way too lazy for that. So I think I try to tell like a story in one picture. Yeah, so that's the basic thing I think about me, and now I think I had a thought like, because this whole thing is called important artists, like, and Alex already kind of wanted to like talk about this term, or that we talk about this thing, and like I wrote like down what does important mean, and I think I don't have like many achievements, you know, it wouldn't make sense to brag about anything, or like I wouldn't consider myself as important. But I think it would be like, it would make more sense to talk about how I got to where I am, like how I developed my artistic message in a way, you know. Like, I think that would be like the only thing that I think is important about like Stephan Dybus illustration. Yeah, okay. So, what comes next? I don't know. Ah, yes, this is some like older work. Like when I went to university, you know, I was in this art bubble. Was pretty young. I started at 19. Like had no idea, pretty naive, you know. And you know, yeah, I went like after graduating, I was like after 4 years, I had no idea what to do with my work, you know. I did this melancholic, like sad stuff with a lot of drama and pretty dreamy, and this is kind of like a style in a way, or like I found in a way that I didn't know what to say to an outside world, you know, I didn't know what to do. And then I graduated and I had a daughter at 24, like the same time, you know, I'm 32 now. Yeah. So you can imagine that I kind of got lost in day jobs, like, you know, this kind of stuff. I was at the betting office for 2 years, and I worked barista, and my biggest achievement back then was like, it was in 2016, it's not that long ago, you know, it's really recent. I became a fashion salesman for a luxury brand. And that was something for me, and my mom was really happy for the first time. Like, you know, I kind of had to give up my professional artist career. I had steady income, and I could afford my child food and shelter, you know, really important. Like, and I was happy like for a while, but if I would be honest to myself, I hated everything about my job except the money, like, and while working, like standing around, wait, this is some more older work, like, you know, you get the picture, and then, yeah, we come to this stuff, because like, while working, standing around waiting for customers, you know, at the shopping center, I fantasized about running around the shopping center randomly, shooting with a machine gun at people. You know, that was my. I thought about this a lot. This is kind of like an opposite. Like there's a force that, if you're sensitive, you know, you kind of want to develop that in some kind of energy, and that's. Okay, I didn't shoot anymore, I started these daily paintings instead. Like, yeah, I started them in 2016, like every day a painting, mostly at night, and this was kind of like a disguise, something like really opposite to express myself. And yeah, like, and around that time also these are like a few examples. This was here at Weserhalle, this was the wall here. There was where all these works, like, it was really kind of incredible here, like I really love. And these are a few examples, and then into these melancholic paintings, you know, this style of like, I get into my world, or my kind of figures. These guys, this was actually the first picture where these showed up, you know, and like these, and then they developed and they kind of did their own thing, and this happened because like, back then, I think I stole them from my 4-year-old daughter back then, because we copied each other's work a lot, like this was like a really fun thing to do. And she drew really tiny, like back then, like really tiny figures, and then I think it got into this, and then that's it. And they, yeah, this is kind of interesting, because they they are also like the more communicative part about the whole thing, you know. Like you have this, that's what I'm talking about, you had this like, didn't know what to say, I had no message, ran out of university, and they are kind of important because they communicate. That's when the communication starts, you know. Wait a second. Yeah, and around that time came the question: what is it I have to say as an artist? Like, is there anything? And the only thing that I'm good at is failing. You know, like so. In that tragedy is the humor and the message I can talk about, in a way. So I built that reflection around my visual world, and I think a lot of people can relate to that because we all fail all the time, of course, you know, in relationships and work and everything, and I think that's a human thing. Yeah, so yeah, this is like also like some stuff that soon developed while working. This is kind of, we got these. This is like humor for me. Like some kids while working at this high fashion brand, we got these motivation mails with these sentences like "keep yourself positive," and the stuff like "and achieve your goals," and you can do anything. And I collected them and did a few of. I kind of made fun of this thing, or this was like basically my life, you know. And you always want to read it. Is it readable? Actually, that's like a really early one. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, so you get the picture, like, and this was pretty early. So this is like where the communication starts out of like this is like, of course. Actually, like colleagues of mine, once she saw this, she was really disturbed, and because they didn't get that this was like fun for me. Like this here, you see the landscape and everything I talk about, like where I link those words together to form my message here. And now I like that's basically like how things developed, okay? And yeah, now I can. I mean, yeah. Like, I don't know what you want to know, but I don't really want to talk that much about, like I said, about achievements or anything. It's like, this is another one, like pretty basic back then. And this one you might like. Yeah, like this. Okay, so now we come to a little like, okay, I talk about like some works I do now, like this is for Zeit magazine it was, and this was I wrote it down, this is really complicated. Zeit magazine, encyclopedic collection of banned keywords on the Chinese internet. This is like a huge encyclopedic collections of really funny words actually that got banned on the internet. These are the illustrations, and then there are the words. Like for example, this one is a banned keyword, and it is performance art. Or this one is blue sky, white sun. Sun like, and not sun like the sun. I'm not sure if it pronounces it, but yeah, pretty basic. And this one is 9 presidents. It's really similar to the one in Xi Jinping. What is his name? It was like after his portrait. Yes, so yeah, this is a few other works like I do right now, and yeah, recent stuff. Okay, more colorful, market-oriented. Yeah, and this is that's it. This is like Instagram, and I started now tattoo work. So if you're interested, yeah, that's it.
You just my favorite font. Is it right? Like where it's spelled? Everything's okay. Yeah. Can you see why it says Stephan Dybus, or is that just me? Crazy brain. Imagine it, like Steph.
The Benny Boss is the boss that has like,
Yes.
Or Steph Handy.
say Benny Boss.
Stephan Handy. But when it did come up, I was like, wow. Yeah, and that seems great. I'm going to get one soon. I'm just decided.
Handy Bus.
Yeah.
It's a new.
It's also like an old animal. This is so.
Oh, yeah.
Stephan Dybus. Scales.
Or it could be like Steph and the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, cool. So this is the first presentation. What we're going to be doing is just got this information here. So then once we've done the second presentation with Lois, then we'll have time to consider it, and then we'll open it up to the floor so everyone can just talk away. But maybe put your hands up, like at school or something, because that's how I communicate. Alright, so I'm going to introduce Lois now, if you're ready. And Lois is terrific. I've known Lois for 3 years, and we met on a Facebook page called Find Friends in Berlin. So it was destiny, I guess. Okay. So this is now ready for you? Yeah. So Lois.
Hi, first of all, thank you, Alex, for putting on this event. It's really awesome to be part of the first one in the series of local artist talks. And thank you, Stephan. It was really awesome. I really loved your work. So yeah, just to reintroduce myself, my name is Lois. I work as an illustrator and an animator, but I found that my practice has become very split actually between the work I make personally and the work I make for my work, my job. And I found that I'm 100% working right now as an animator. And this is kind of a selection of some gifts from some projects I've worked on over the past couple of years. So I work in animation. I share a studio with some super talented animators in Kreuzberg. And I'm pretty much just like an animator. I've been back and forth in between London and Berlin for a little while. But last year I finished studying in London, and I've kind of been in Berlin working since then. So I also work as an illustrator. Pretty much everything I do illustration tends to be like more personal work, and it's kind of strange, like sexuality is happening in my life. So yeah, I do like a lot of like my personal work, more like painting and like exploring like things I would never be able to explore like for my real job. So that's really cool. And then this kind of takes me into comics and sequential illustration, which is the thing I'm like most passionate about. And I think for me it allows me to kind of bring together the things I love about illustration and animation the most, and then I can create narratives and explore characters without kind of dealing with like the restrictions that come with animation. I think like anyone that knows anything about animation, it's like a super laborious, like time-consuming process. So I feel like when I create my personal practice, I'm able to take everything I enjoy as an animator and kind of create these like very like short form like narrative moments. Most of these comics I make and my personal practice, really I just want to make work which is kind of about like human moments that we all have, which are universal, and kind of put them in this like kind of surreal like setting, usually using like animal characters or these like dreamy worlds, but that base feeling which is universal. I always want to be there. I always want my work to be accessible. And this one, I made this like a few years ago about like a bad breakout like most artists do. And it's just this kind of big existential like horse character like wandering just like big desert Arizona setting, and kind of just like these feelings of not knowing where you're going, but I didn't want it to be so literal and like feeling like that. Yeah, and the same thing. I thought it was interesting. I don't know what Alex. There she is. That Alex told me the kind of umbrella theme for this event was friction between living things. And when I was going through my work today, I was trying to think about how my work is about friction. I kind of realized it isn't. I think for me, my work is about like communication between living things, and what I really kind of want to do, at least in my personal practice, is kind of put out like these kind of like everyday feelings that are quite nuanced, that everyone kind of goes through, and like very simple, like everyday things, and then maybe someone can look at it and like recognize their own feeling or their own experience. Yeah, sometimes it's like one heavy deep things, and other times it's just like these stupid moments, like and not wanting to like converse with like an acquaintance that's just passing by. Okay, so this brings me to another project I made in my personal practice, which is the theme. It's called These Wings Might Help. It was all about kind of suggestively about mental health, but really more about the idea of self-care and self-care practices. I think there's a lot of like self-care out there, or self-help, which is like obnoxious, or it's cheesy, or it's overwhelming. So I kind of wanted to put out this book, or more like kind of suggestions and like a kind of gentle approach to this kind of thing. I think this one reads a bit strange because it's actually a spread from a book, so you would read it like down this side and then down that side. And yeah, this was a really important like project for me. Yeah, again, I think I just wanted to like take this thing, which is like very universal, it's very human, like everyone's like sad, and it's like such a different kind of beat. So I kind of wanted to like put forward a more like a gentle, like sensitive, but hopefully still powerful, things that may help. So yeah, that was something I really enjoyed doing as a personal project. And then this kind of like leads nicely into my work as an animator, and some of the people I've been like, fortunate enough to work with. While I was like studying at uni, I was able to like get some work for the School of Life, which are an organization that started up in London, and they basically make well-being ideas or more philosophical ideas and ideas to emotional intelligence, like very accessible. And they put out animated content to kind of like help carry this along. So I started to work with them, and I'm really grateful for those experiences because I think it kind of aligned with my work quite nicely, and I kind of just wanted to focus on relating to feelings, universal moments. Yeah, and then more recently I've just working like a lot more like editorial kind of animation, and kind of starting to move away from this like personal project almost, and I find like more and more I have less and less time to do personal work, which is upsetting, as I kind of like I'm taking on like larger projects as an animator. This was like a project I recently made, The Atlantic, which are like a publishing like platform in the US, and it was all about like wolves returning to Norway. Yeah, I think that's everything. This illustration I finished on pretty much just a summation of what I'm about, what I do. But again, I think for me, like the most important thing about my work is that I want it to be like very accessible, and I want it to like communicate ideas and make connections. I think when I was like I studied in London for a few years, and I had like kind of like, it's probably a really annoying student because I was like very stubborn. I had a lot of pushback because generally like my tutors were pretty like discouraging of like work which is too easily accessible, and I really just like this kind of trend like in the art world. I mean, we have like highbrow and lowbrow art, and this idea that if something is like too easily accessible and popular culture, it becomes a low art. So I had like a lot of like pushback from that when I was in school, and I think now I'm out of school and I'm kind of just doing my own thing. And that's really the thing I do want to push the most. I do want my work to be, if it's lowbrow, that's fine, because I want to communicate ideas and I want my work to be accessible instead of only to become like, to be like so inaccessible, conceptual that it's only accessible by like a very few amount of people. So yeah, ultimately I don't even really regard myself as an artist. I think it's like quite a self-important word sometimes. I think for me it's always just been about that I'm like a person that has these strange feelings just like everyone else, and I just want to put them out there and hope that people can go into the narratives or the comments of the work and like recognize their own feelings and maybe feel some connection from art and relatability. Yeah, that's everything.
So now is the time where we put the power to you. We can all just talk basically. But cool. Yeah. So you can go ready to sit here or yeah. It's set up like a blind date. Don't worry. Like still a blood. So we can refer back to this material basically. So if we raise any issues that we're talking about, then we'll just go to them. So I was making notes, and I wanted to just bring up a few points which I picked up on. And so what I noticed that the core theme of the work actually in some of the pieces were these creatures. So one could be a boy or a daughter, and also in your scene about self-care, there was like this character who doesn't really have any features, and also likewise. So it reminded me of Lemmings. I don't know if you remember that game, Lemmings. A really great game. I don't know what was going on with that game, but it was great. But like, I was curious to think about like how conscious was that character in the work, and is it something that is leading the work? Just in different parts of it.
I think I sort of started because I didn't really know how to draw humans. If I'm just super honest. I don't really like to draw humans, but then I think as it went on, I don't know if this is just, maybe it's just an excuse for me to not really learn how to draw human characters, but I think that I like the idea of creating characters which aren't very distinguishable, so that maybe if the character does look too much like a human, maybe when you recognize or you don't recognize them, it's kind of distracting, and maybe it's trickier than for you to put yourself in the place of that character.
This is like basic communication knowledge in the comic. Like, I mean, the more you strap down a character, like the more people can relate to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so does anyone have any questions here? So the idea is you would talk and then I'm just a room.
Stephan, how did you decide to quit your career in art?
No, I quit because I couldn't take it anymore, basically. And then I started like getting into the art stuff and really pushing it, you know. Like, just like, I actually had a plan and I quit. quit, and then I kind of didn't want to quit because I got like, you know, I need a job, but still eventually I quit, and
How did
kind of
your
a decision.
sorry? How did your mom feel about you quitting your job?
Good. Like my dad, we had this talk like we need to go out for a talk like, and then like when I was 30, like I was really depressed, and you know like, and it was really they were thinking really bad things about the city.
Yeah.
But that's basic artist rule, like don't make your parents satisfied.
I have a story actually that's quite linked to that. When I first moved here, I was asked the job. I was working at a camera store, and they were like, I said, "Is there any progression? You've just got £1 million in whatever. They got £1 million in funding." I said, "Is there any progression here?" And they said, "No." I said, "Well, I quit then." He's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go to Berlin. I don't know why, but I'm going to go." And he says, "What will you do?" I said, "I'll probably clean toilets and I'll clean them." So dreams do happen. But then it's interesting, like so you're both freelance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, there's also freelancers here as well. I know you guys. Who else is freelance?
Freelance?
Okay. So yeah. So we all know the struggle of it. I'm a freelance cleaner, but it doesn't really count. My own business. But I'm curious about like, so how does maybe the limitation and freedom of being a freelancer affect your work? Like, roughly. If my questions are too complicated, let me know.
No, not at all. I think because I mostly work in freelance as an animator, as I mentioned, I think the problem I have is I find it really hard to have a good work-life balance because animation is so crazy workload, and because I always want to push a job to be the best they can be, more often than not, I'm not really actually having much freedom because I'm sort of in charge and set up a job to be so ridiculous and elaborate that it actually takes up all my free time. So I think that's for me definitely something I'm still working on right now is managing my own time as a freelancer.
Can I add to the question? So in your freelance work, how much do you allow yourself to kind of inject your own expression or agenda, or do you have a totally different mind space to do this is work, this is personal? Do you mix them at all?
I think sadly a lot of the time if I'm working for a client, it's really about what they want. I think I would try to bring kind of personality into works with clients as much as possible. But at the end of the day, when I'm working on more commercial jobs, they don't really care about the things I want to express about the world and whatnot. And I find it really hard to prioritize personal work over commercial work. I feel very fortunate that I'm able to work as an animator, so I almost feel very obliged to put more time into the kind of paid work, and then I end up spending less and less time on the personal work, which is a shame, but it's something that I'm working on as a freelancer.
Kind of on that note, you both talked about having, I guess, struggling with a day job and wanting to do your own personal work, and maybe struggling with doing too much commercial work and wanting to do your own work. Is there a place in your career or a job or a project or something that you would want, or that is the goal for you? I don't know, for example, doing a animated feature film or something that's fully your thing. I don't know, is there a project or a job like that? Yes.
I'm not sure actually. But I went full-time freelance probably about a year ago, and I really haven't had much time to even kind of think too deeply about personal projects. So that I do know I would really like to spend more time making work like this, work which is sequential, illustrated, probably using paints more. Yeah. What about you?
I just I don't know if I have any more goals except to get back to your question because I think one starts to get a little more accessible, like for the customer in a way, and then you like you've seen my last work I showed that was published is like a little different to the other stuff. I think it's kind of you adapt in a way, to the market and this kind of thing, and that's kind of thing. I don't know if like that's really. I want to get back a little more to really what's so I'd like to read what I'm about in a way. Like,
Was this adaptation conscious? Or just
in a way, it was interesting to because like okay, we need to sell this magazine. It needs to be like the mom grabs it, or like it needs to be like cute and stuff, and and I was really into like okay, how do we make it cute, as cute as possible.
But isn't it just like adapting to the task? Like in a way. So
Yeah, it is, but
it's commercial work, So
Yeah.
of course you sell the style, but
Yeah.
the task is basically dictated by the client.
And I love commercial
Which is
work
okay,
anyway.
I guess.
Like if it's still like for me, it's still like cute stuff, but still it's like it's kind of gotten away a little bit, I think, or it could.
Well, I mean, something that.
And this is totally me, this stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's like this could be your personal work, right?
Yeah.
It is in a way, in the same sort of style. And also, I like that it applies to a educational context as well. Like, so, like I don't know, like something I was thinking about is humor. I don't know if that's something you're conscious of. You're really funny. Do you know that you're funny?
No, my main influence is actually is architecture and stand-up comedy, American.
Oh, okay.
And the stuff you
makes
see on
sense.
Netflix or Mark Maron and like this stuff. Like because like he was actually talking about like I don't know if you know Mark Maron, but he's like basically through him I know like every comedian is basically fucked up and they're losers, or it started like that. And that's what that's like okay, like that's what I want to do in illustration. But I'm not like there are much better people or illustrators like Nadine Redlich who are really into like just for the fun and the message. I'm really that's the mix between this melancholic world and the joke. But like Nadine Redlich or Anna Haifisch, or they are like really they are really more about the message, the joke, and that's not me. I'm like in between, I guess. But that's okay. It's. But Nadine Redlich, I don't want to look at her stuff. Like I'm really happy that I discovered her really late because sometimes they have the same jokes and like.
I have that issue all the time. My stand-up comedy is everyone's copying it. So, that's a joke.
Yeah, stand-up is great, by the way. I love it.
That's a plug for Steve. I just want to bring back to a point. So it was interesting, friction between living things. So the reason why I put you both together was because I saw Stephan's work as humans against humans, and I really felt that. And also Lois, it's about animals and humans, this kind of idea, and obviously also human feelings. But then Lois mentioned communication instead of being friction. So I'm curious if this title relates to you in any way, or actually this title doesn't relate to you at all, because it's all my reading. I'm just curious about that.
It makes total sense. Friction between living things is what is communication. It's what's fun, what you can't express except through. I think humor is like the friction between living things.
Friction, humor is almost like a lubricant.
What is a lubricant?
Lubricant, it's a social lubricant. It makes things. It can ease the friction, if you like. If you so in some ways you use that, perhaps to where that's going. But yeah, that's.
But that's like the word Fremdschämen I wanted to teach you. It's the German word, Fremdschämen. I wanted to teach you that.
Yeah, I still didn't quite get that. Still learning that one.
Does anyone have any questions at all? Like,
more questions.
Ulysses has got those questions all the time.
So first of all, so you both have very distinct style, very I guess personal touch to your work. Are you ever tempted to try something completely different and do it?
I wouldn't say I actively do. I think, yeah, I'm not sure I do. I feel like a lot of the time when I'm like working commercially, I'm like often have to work like with the people want, and usually they want what they've seen from me before. It just becomes this kind of echo chamber, more or less the same thing being made again and again. And I think, at least right now, because I don't have that time to like do personal projects, I think when I do, I don't want to say lazy, but now I just will do the same kind of thing, but it feels like it's easier or like more inviting to kind of just work in that style. Yeah.
Also something like completely else, you mean? Like
Stylistically.
Stylistically.
It takes a long time to build your style, right?
I mean, it's your word, it's your language. You mean it's like an own language you have. You can I mean, I think the same. You have your language that you can play around, and if you can speak fluently. It's easy. It's fun, you know. Like in a way. I mean, it's can get to borders where like you can't develop it maybe because it's not a customer they want or something like that. It's the same thing, but still it's language, and I mean you're really happy to have fluent language, I guess, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean my background was a photographer. I studied photography, and then I quit photography quite abruptly. The whole photography world would care, and some of them did. And then I moved to pretend to be a rapper, and then through that moved into poetry, and then through poetry to comedy, and then it kind of goes full circle. So it's kind of interesting, like because you're a performer too, right? Well, I mean, the thing is with Ulysses, this is Ulysses, fascinating character in the scene. I'm just curious, so what is your, would you change your style, or how do you define a style before you do that?
Wait, turn the table.
I'm just curious, because everything can go in.
I asked the question because that's also a topic I feel very directly. It's a question I struggle with because I think I do have some kind of style, even though I can't really articulate it, but I'm constantly trying to break it. I feel somewhat limited when I don't try to break it. At the same time, I completely understand what you say as well. I think it's a powerful thing to have yourself a language that you're at ease with.
But you develop the language anyway. I mean, breaking would be like to challenge your world into new things and see what happens. You know, see where the guys go. You know.
Do you feel like then there was a point where you were like, this is like the style, like you see your own style kind of, and you're like, this is what I'll keep doing? Or, because I also like, I don't know, I study graphic design but do some illustration stuff, and I feel like I'm constantly kind of jumping all over the place. But then other people will say, no, I see like a style and I can't quite see it.
But the thing is like, it doesn't matter for me as long as there's a message, you know, like there's like you have something to say, like if you get this, it's the difference between decorative stuff, you know, that's like a lot of illustration, you know, is even mine, of course. I mean, I think every illustration is it's kind of because it communicates easier, but still, it's like, I mean, I think it should be always about like that you want to tell something, like which doesn't make it artistic in a way, because it communicates what you said earlier, like you want to communicate, and then it's not art anymore. Yeah, it would be a problem if I wouldn't try to communicate. Like if I would just paint for myself, then I would be in this kind of what am I doing? Like always the same stuff, you know. But if I want to communicate, so that's actually goal, you know. Then it's just language to get there. It's the same, it doesn't matter.
Would you say that when you get commissions, people, the client, I guess, do they usually, like how often do they just tell you to do what you want, and how often do they try to direct you?
They don't really, as I just corrected me for the cover yet. I mean, I'm in the business like for a year.
Right.
Not that long.
Yeah, right.
And it was just the cover.
Okay.
The cover, like you saw, that was the only thing.
Right,
Any
okay.
corrections.
Okay, fair
Anyway.
enough.
But I really try to get into what they want.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
Oh wait, was it really? I didn't think about it. This sounds like a little too easy, doesn't it?
It's not a trick question,
But you said that they said like they want the mom to pick it up. They want it to be like playful, and is that like
Yeah, that was
from
a
them?
cover, like it was a lot of like okay, let's get into this thing like to make it accessible, but mostly it's.
But was that were you the one to decide to do that, or
Yeah.
was it?
Wait, no. This was actually they choose that one for my older works. You know, they for the cover they helped me a lot actually, like because they weren't really happy with my ideas. Like, and then they choose some stuff like I had this animal before, and then I did like that. And this was a lot of change was involved there, but most stuff wasn't really that much change. Really, I don't know. Which is weird, which was actually weird. I sometimes thought like, okay, when is this going to, like I'm kind of, like this, am I really, no wait, how to say it in English, dann fliegt es auf, wie sagt man das auf Englisch? Dann fliegt es auf.
It's like a kind of processing.
So,
Why you get away with it?
yeah, I get away with it every time, like sometimes I think, God, why, like, I mean, it's too easy, like sometimes, you know, like, it's what I thought to think sometimes. But I don't have much experience anyway.
No, I just think it's interesting because talking to Lois before about the last show that she did with the wolves in, I feel like there was times at which you were saying that you kind of assumed that the client would want a certain thing and did it in order to set to certain elements of it. Maybe in the color palette. To minimize feedback and to make sure that they get what they want, because you're essentially doing a job.
Totally.
But I also wonder, like, to what degree do these like decisions that we make as like creators inhibit our own growth and personality? Because maybe the client doesn't want that, and we don't know.
It's just sometimes, a lot of times you said like the pictures they like, so
you kind of base it on that. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I'm interested in talking a little bit about, away from processes and more about the content of the work. So like, so when people are reading the work, they're not thinking about the process so much, they're just like, oh, look at that human, or look at that tiger. So what kind of themes have you noticed that kind of relate to real life themes like the animals in China and the Atlantic wolf issue? So like the wider topic. I'm just curious to know a bit more about that, like how that made you, where did you kind of, where did that take you? You know, like where did that idea take you? If that makes sense. Like with the wolf project.
Yeah. Sorry, what exactly is the question with the theme in the...
Well, yes, so the issue of humans' interactions with wolves.
Okay, yeah.
So like how I mean, like, how do you feel about that subject?
this was a subject in an article or?
Yeah, so there was like quite a long kind of pretty academic essay that was sort of like sent to me, and I think that what they wanted to do was basically kind of take these ideas and actually make it like accessible, because I guess everyone's such a short attention span. Not many people, when they see this article come up, probably gonna like sit down and dedicate maybe an hour to kind of read it. So I think they wanted to like take this theme and turn it into video. So I can't say I had like any kind of choose it into like kind of what was presented. So the piece, it was about like wolves returning to Norway and kind of the problem that this causes, and really I don't really have much say on anything comparison side, whether they're going to take the more like human side, whatever. And actually that's the only thing the client, at least I was working with that time, actually like cared about was like how they were kind of like presenting themselves like, politically, because of the themes. It kind of in a way became like kind of a political issue, but it's almost like they were less interested in the visual side, and I feel like I didn't really have much say in the
So
theme.
they like presented information and then you responded to that information.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I feel like they're like much more kind of concerned with say like it was a voiceover in this animation, like what the words were saying, and it didn't really have so much to do with me. It just kind of like I think for them also they were kind of like less concerned like actually with the visuals, and much more concerned with like what they were actually saying in these words, like what their political stance might be interpreted as. I almost feel like for them the visuals sort of like came secondary.
It's a bit like, see, like this is a personal project that you worked on. So in a way, this is the visual and this is then the narrative, just like the Atlantic. So let's say hypothetically that the Atlantic wrote this and you responded, but instead you did this and you did both of them, you know? So maybe that is quite a distinguished difference between personal and commercial work, is that you actually choose a subject. Because you know, like, I'm going to make a project about, really do stuff you're interested in, so, yeah.
But these are articles that are like a little animated, or like.
Do you have it? Should we look at it?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Is it online? Or is it on my computer?
Just little animation.
So they basically have like a big article, and then. No, I can share actually. It's like a full like 3-minute like editorial, almost like an explainer video.
Okay, like video animation. I thought like.
Okay, so yeah, not so much like a GIF on an editorial.
I thought like a lot about illustration, the future of illustration being like really short animation, because you had this work that was like just moving it slightly, and like this could be. I think about this like sometimes some do that already, that you have just like. For articles on the web browser, you have just slight animation.
Right.
You know? I thought like you would do such a thing.
Yeah, I think this actually also noticed this trend like in
I think it's going to be the future.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Just like slightly animated.
Yeah.
Like the
illustration, animated illustrations.
Yeah. Do you ever animate your work?
One thing was this 3D animation. I mean, I'm a huge computer graphics fan, you know. So like in gaming, you know. Like 90s games and stuff, and like I did like 3D animate my stuff. Now not like animate, but like modeling it, and then the plan was like to do little animations from it, like, but I didn't get that far. So, but like put my textures on objects, you know, that it's like a fake paper work. I mean,
Yeah, and I think there's a totally different like logic or path that you take when you decide to be just an animator or just an illustrator.
Right.
And I think the work will take on a totally different form almost. Like one is focusing on the motion and the illustration is secondary, and then the other way around.
Right, and there's just like some limitations of the media also, which you have to like take into account.
Yeah.
Like say someone comes to do like a 5-minute animation, like this is like months and months of work, so you really have to kind of think how you can creatively like cut corners so that reduce the workload.
That's why I did this 3D animation, because it's much easier.
Right,
it's
exactly.
like, that's why I thought like, okay, I don't want to do animation. It's like, no, too much work. So just if you have like cameras flying from there to there, and it's just like, it's kind of like a thing where I thought like, oh, I'm interested in this kind of, and because at university we had like animation. It's really hard. I mean, you did this. You didn't show it, like, but this longer movie, not movie, but the music video with the hand animated stuff, like in between, or it seems to be like this chalky kind of on white on black. Yeah.
What do you use to animate?
So right now, predominantly I use Adobe Photoshop, which is kind of like I'd say in the last probably like 3 or 4 years, it's like really taken off as like an animation program, which is crazy because it originally was a photo editing tool, the most. I think for me it mimics like real drawing the most, so it's pretty much, I would say, predominantly what I use, yeah.
Should we look at the video?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe some ideas can come from it. Does everyone have a good time? This is the main question to ask. Yeah. So let's see. MC mode. Alright,
people. In fact, they can cost money to live alongside.
Alright, so this is the Atlantic.
Predators are a wicked conservation problem because they don't return direct benefits to people. In fact, they can cost money to live alongside. They can scare people.
Let's take a look at it.
It's because of the chrome class, I think.
You don't think you can play like locally off the computer though?
Oh, no, it is on the local
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it still doing it?
Predators are a wicked conservation problem because they don't return direct benefits to people. In fact, they can cost money to live alongside. They can scare people. They can cause trouble.
What I can actually do is just leave this mouse to
It's really big way in terms of protecting our species like wolves. But I think the deeper problem is how polarized this conversation has become. It's really more of an argument among people than an argument between people and wolves. By the early 1900s, wolves were more or less extinct in all of Western Europe, driven out by government programs that rewarded people for killing them. In the decades that wolves were not around, people adapted to their absence. In Norway in particular, they changed the way they herded sheep. And so when the wolves made their way back, all of a sudden humans were faced with the possibility of having to change what now seemed like very long-standing traditions. In almost any system that they live in, wolves are top predators, so they have a positive impact on the ecosystem. But those kinds of impacts aren't being seen quite as dramatically in Europe, mostly because the landscape is so much more human-dominated. From a conservation perspective, it's still an incredible success story. But there's a very vocal minority of people concentrated in rural Norway who feel a deep sense of injustice, that they were being asked to bear a disproportionate burden of wolf recovery. For instance, some farmers are switching from raising sheep to raising cows, which are less vulnerable to wolves. Some are changing their herding practices, which might sound like, oh, of course, that's easy, but farming is a difficult business, and that represents, to some people, a pretty dramatic change. All of those initiatives are in part funded by the government and helping to resolve the conflict on a practical level. On a deeper level, though, there's just a very baked-in resentment toward so-called city people who are seen as getting away with supporting wolves and not having to deal with the consequences of wolf recovery. Farmers don't necessarily want to see wolves driven out of Norway again. They're in fact surprisingly supportive of some wolves who become Scandinavian Iceland and want to see the species alive and just figure out how to share the inevitable burden that comes with living with predators. It can't just be the people who are experiencing the most direct effects paying the price. It has to be a country or a region as a whole sharing that burden equally, and whether that means sharing the financial costs or sharing it in some other way, that in the end is the toughest conservation nut to crack.
Yeah.
So how long? I think I got the audio from them in about frame by frame animator. So I like draw it every single, and then basically it's usually like 24 frames per second. I usually draw like 12 frames every second. So I don't know, like that was like a 3-minute animation. It's like more or less like gonna be like 12 drawings each second. But there are so many tricks and stuff you can do, but it's still really crazy.
How many frames is that?
How many frames? I'm not sure. I mean, I worked it out and I was like, oh. I don't know.
Were there any questions that anyone had, like any burning issues that's arising in this insights? Apart from heat, right? Yeah. Any other questions that people have?
I've got one. You worked for like the Atlantic and you worked for Süddeutsche Zeitung.
Deutsche Zeitung.
Yeah. Who are the art directors and do you have any emails?
I look up on Instagram some really successful guys that are always like in the title put like thanks to the art director. It's so easy.
And you just contact them.
Yeah. And then you can like they have their own account. Then you have the name, and then you just do the.
Okay, that's the way of doing it.
It's like look, a lot of people write in the title like of the work. Thanks to whatever.
And you just like for that job, did you actually just like?
I didn't actually do any of that stuff. It just recently started. Like
for that particular job, was it like?
No, they asked me.
How they asked you?
All works was they asked me, but like recently I started like doing more kind of this is what I told you.
Blind call email. Yeah.
Not calls. Did you say calls?
Like a blind call, but it's an email.
Have you ever been to Disneyland?
Yes, no. Paris, I guess it was.
Oh, yeah, it just reminds me of Disneyland. It's Mickey Mouse, right?
Oh, it is. Nah, kind of. I mean.
Or is it like a German Mickey Mouse?
Right? Mickey Mouse.
It was like making
It is, right? Or Princess Leia. I mean, like the same hair.
And they get like really in the US and Florida, the payment is so bad actually you can even afford to live.
And so you said like you were kind of drawing back and forth with your daughter.
Yeah.
Is that still happening? Is that like, does she still draw or you?
Yeah, kind of like, so when I work at home and she's there as well, which sometimes she says, and she kind of starts copying stuff. And, it's so good work, it's such good work sometimes. It's so vivid and honest, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue. Taking pictures. I mean, does anyone have like any questions or anything?
Did I have
or like any points that you're like, or questions for yourself? Yeah.
I have a question. Like,
please go ahead.
The accessibility to animals. Why are animals accessible, like for communication purposes? Like,
I think it's going like just looking back to what I said before, how I don't necessarily like want to present like feelings which is so distinctive. I think for me that a lot of the way I put out these feelings through the words on the illustration, and like that's I want the very simply for people to read it and to understand. That's the accessibility, but then kind of drop it into like a world which is not so literally like what the words are saying.
because like this one, the last word where the girl kind of has this head, like, you know, the last word we showed on your presentation, she had this head, like, I said, this bunny head, and it's like, I don't know what the purpose of this head is, except it makes it cute, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
Okay. Because I love the work, you know, it's just like amazing. I like this this thing that you take from your experience or like your world's experience. Like, this is also great. It's a thing. I mean, it could be a human, but like.
Okay, I mean, to be honest, like.
But it's, yeah.
I think I wish the artist was more like complex, and I just really like animals and prefer to draw them to humans, but I think maybe like that's already
That's romantic in a way in this work, especially. I think like it's kind of like I think it's kind of like wanting to be something in a way, you know, like dreamy kind of. Yeah.
It's funny. It's not the first time I've seen your work. Obviously, I've always thought it as a means of disguising the grotesque.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a cutesy way to get something way more complicated and adult across.
Yeah, I think that's like this. I enjoy that in other work, so maybe I don't think it's something I consciously like choose, but yeah. For
Sorry,
sure,
is that what you
yeah.
meant?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of the time it's like.
It transports naivety in a way, you know.
Yeah. I really like illustration. I think it makes it kind of interesting. It sits really interestingly when you put these two opposing like feelings. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's quite interesting that you that is like a simple explanation is like we always apologize for a simple explanation, but surely that's enough, right? Like surely because it's like we could say it's about the grandiose nature between the complexity of this and that, but it's like if it isn't that, then it isn't. And I think that for me is the pureness. And I think maybe there's a pureness in both of your works. And it's like actually, I feel like you calmly go into illustration. You know, like even though you're wearing exactly the same outfit now, you're wearing. And I just noticed that when you have the tattoos, basically. But if someone said whose work is who, it will be reflected on the way you are. So maybe it's more of an observation, but like do we become the work that we create? Are they both working with this?
Well, I sometimes like to make fun of myself for myself a lot, like in a way, the same way. Yeah. Like in my private life.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how people's like personality, like or voice, always, at least to me, like when I'm observing like the work of other illustrators, I don't know, like I think a lot of illustrators have this thing. I think you like Chris mentioned it at one point of like feeling like jumping around styles maybe, of even like, oh, this one feels different to this one. Whenever people like come to me and present this, I always feel like, oh no, but I can honestly, genuinely see that person and that voice in all the work, and that kind of brings it together. But I always find it really hard for me to see, for instance, like objectively, like I somehow thought like, I think because you're so close to it and you know yourself so well, so you can create things that seem like, you know, totally different to you, but someone else will still be able to like, pick up on your voice and your personality and that. And I think in that sense, like, yeah, maybe it's like less so like we become our work, and like, I think we can't help but like, put ourselves into all the work we make.
It reminds me of my English teacher back in school, and I never understood this, and she said, you have a voice in your work. And I'm like, what does that mean? But then I think I realised when I started writing it is that voice. So obviously we all have a voice, right? And we're all speaking. But sometimes that voice translates really well. So maybe it's also this voice which carries on. And that becomes the iconography. If you look at famous artists, they have that voice also comes through. And it's because perfecting that craft. And interestingly, when we go back and we try to drastically change the work, you look at the trajectory of artists' careers, they are perfecting that craft, right? Like, in some ways. You know, like perfecting watercolor, perfecting animation.
It's just like a real artist, I think, break a lot as well. Like, you know, like, or it depends because there's this art market, you know. Like, I mean, we're not part of this, but like, there's art and there's this art word it sells, you know. And they want to see all the same stuff over and over again. I'm not sure, like, I mean, Picasso like always changed in a way, but like most of the times, I don't know that much about art, I guess, but so, yeah.
Well, I mean, does anyone have any other questions at all? It's hot, right? It's hot. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe maybe we can summarize. Really. Okay. So, or did Lois? Did you want to ask Stephan a question about his work?
I've just been interested in illustrator animating before.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Do you always work just with the same mediums, like painting, or do you ever feel really trying different things? I don't think for me, I feel like I always just feel like it's a stupid problem, but I have to kind of really stick to digital. I have to stick to doing paints because that's my brand and how I present myself as a commercial artist. And it's such a stupid problem, but I definitely struggle with that at times.
Yeah, I think it's really drawing digitally is really about problem solving in a way. To do it because there's not you have to really you can always pray Mars said, this thing this is such it's really complicated. What I think about a lot is how to make it printable, my stuff, to translate it to digital. That it looks good because if you draw digital, it's always better actually in a way coloring and stuff. I don't want to do this. Too much respect for this kind of work. It could be done really great, you do it great, but I don't know how to do it anyway. I don't know how you do this kind of, let the brushes look like a brush and texture style.
It's so cheating, it's tricks. And
of course.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it seems that using traditional mediums to interviews what you do, it would be such a different direction.
Stephan, is all of yours painted? All of your works painted, or how do you paint?
Yeah, painted. Acrylics and water basically, or ink.
Yeah.
Ink for the black and white, but just want to erase stuff. Yeah.
You also, with your tattoos, you were just saying earlier today about how you can do this texture.
Do you have to do like a strafur, where you do points like this, that you have a pointed texture, completely different.
That sounds horrible to do.
It's not painful. If you do three lines are painful, but this it's not it's you make it fast, so the needle goes in every now and then.
It's kind of random.
No, it's a case pattern in order to.
Well, this is something quite
It's
interesting.
basically shading. It's basically.
What's quite interesting, maybe it's a visual comment or something, or a word comment, but illustrators, they really like having tattoos. And it's something I've noticed, because you have a tattoo as well, Chris, right?
Yeah, a few, yeah.
It started, my first tattoo was 30, I got kind of I started skating with 30, my first in life, It's quite nice to oh my god, I think I got a child right now, and I think she wants to stay young or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it's, when I used to be a skater, and I loved the illustration element of it. So I was saying to Chris a few weeks ago, the illustration community is so nice because I've been in the photography community, poetry community, comedy community, and it's all there's a competitive element. Because what I really actually like about the community of illustration is that everyone's I love that stuff, and they're I love it too. You know what I mean? It's really about
It's different like comedy, so.
Comedy, it depends sometimes. Yeah. It's less competitive in a way, but it's just interesting how illustration, it could actually be as simple as I just really love that, or that really makes me happy. And for me, that was beautiful. So that's why I'm always drawn to illustration and animation and all these things. That's what I'm speech. Well, I experience of the world. Yeah. All right. Well, what I want to do before we do that is I'll explain to you the progression of this project. So the Born Artist Conversation is an event that will happen on the last Thursday of every month, and it will happen here. The same situation, just different artists. So 2 artists get chosen and we talk about it. And also it can be viewed online as well. So we'll be working on videos and stuff like that. What we ask, saying we, it's just me, but like, I feel like I have many personalities, maybe. All the characters are playing the work, but yeah. So if you do have like any like maybe 3 to 5 euros or anything like that, what we'll do is we'll be able to give that back to the artists, so we can actually also pay them for their time and everything. It's completely obviously just do that like that, and yeah, basically we can do that, and the next one will be on the last Thursday of the month, so August. But if you keep an eye on all of that, you'll find it on the nstlerin page. How did you find out about this event? This is what I'm curious about. All these people keep coming to me, and I'm like, I don't know where you're finding out about this, because I'm just sharing it on my page. But what I'll show you, I'll just quickly show you the website. So basically, this is the best way to see what's going on, and also Facebook as well. I guess I should promote it. I guess. And if you are a creative, if you are in any form, you could be a dancer. You have videos. This is the web page. You have artist profiles, so basically each one is music videos.
But this is also for the, like, you do this kind of open stage event as well, like this
open stage.
Open stage. This was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah. So yesterday, you came, and also there's a community of people. So if you are an artist that wants to perform anywhere, every second Wednesday we have nstlerin, which is the main series, which is called How Long Is Forever. This is the Important Artist Conversation. So it's basically all one big encapsulated thing, and this is Important Artist Publication. So if you're a poet, if you're a whatever, any medium, go crazy. There is curation, but it's very loose curation. I'm not going to tell you what you should do. And so basically, yeah, this is all on the website. You can have a look at the latest things happening by going here. As you see here, there's a moving GIF, which I could also be a graphic designer too, I guess. This was where we all met. This is my illustration. You can do it on your phone. That's something that I do. There's basically all the events that are found here, and also on the Facebook thing. So it's basically just nstlerin, and then it's the page here. So yeah, if you want to keep up to date with all the projects, just have a look there. Like it if you want. I'm not going to like try to make everybody like it, because I know what it's like when someone says, "Can you like my page?" But it will just be beneficial for you to like it, because that means you can see all these exciting things which have happened so far. If you want to get involved in the project at any point, just let me know, and yeah, we can always talk about that after. But I want to say thanks to everyone for coming. Thanks so much to the both artists here, and Ben and Weserhalle for hosting us. It's been, I love it. It's super fun. All right, let's get out of here.
Next time, fan. This is hot, fan.
Yeah, it's hot, right?
What do you do later tonight?
I'm not sure, yeah.
Why would you hit me up? Because